Hello everyone, Dave here with some thoughts on another knife for you guys. Today we're going to take a look at the Strider SNG. This is the CC model. As you guys are probably well aware of, there are a number of great reviews out there by some very cool guys for the Strider SNGs, so highly recommend you guys take a look at some of those. Some really great talking points there. I'm going to try and provide some of my thoughts on it, maybe some stuff you've heard before, maybe some stuff you haven't. But anyway, let's get into it. As usual, I'll post a specification in the description so you can check those out. Typical Strider construction. G10 and titanium handles. The CC is Strider's version of the concealed carry, and what that essentially refers to is the finish on the blade, on the handles, the G10 and the titanium. As you can see, it's a very smooth finish. There is no texturing for grip or anything like that. It's a purely cosmetic sort of finish, which is very nice, very smooth. Same on the titanium side, stone washed over there. The CC, basically as Strider describes it, and also as it functions, allows you to carry it in pocket without it sort of catching on anything. Very smooth sides, very nice. It provides a very sleek, sort of elegant, if you will, sort of look to it. As with all Striders, S30V steel. It is their spear point blade. So there we go, we take a look at that. It does feature the Strider hole opening, very reminiscent of Spyderco's. You'll notice the titanium pin there. It is, while it could function as thumb stud openings, it really isn't. Most folders, as you guys know, will feature a stop back mechanism here, a stop bar, which will be there to catch the blade as it's fully opened. That is the purpose of these titanium, the titanium push pin. It essentially, if you can sort of see there, locks right into the handle itself. The tolerances there are very tight, so that is your stop back mechanism. You could use it as thumb studs for the opening, but they're really intended for this purpose. It is easier to flip it open with the hole opening. So there you have it. This version features the stonewash finish, kind of my preference at this time. As opposed to maybe some of the tiger striping or other finishes they offer. You can check out Strider's website, some of the other places, see what else they offer. This is Generation 6, so it features the Hinderer lock. Strider's version of it, done in-house, looks a little bit different than some of the Hinderer locks they've used in the past. There is no Hinderer logo on there, so you can see there. The functionality of it is still the same. It prevents any type of hyperextension. Okay, some things to note on this SNG, which I've come across. It does feature a lanyard hole, right? However, if you could sort of see there, the blade does come into contact with the paracord. So over time, it will fray it, and I'm not quite sure what Strider was thinking there. I don't want to call it an oversight on their part because they are professionals and they know what they're doing. But I really, it's one of the little mysteries of the SNG, why that blade protrudes into the lanyard hole opening. If it just doesn't quite jive with me. But in any respect, that's why you don't see a lanyard on this guy. It does feature a Strider clip. I've removed it, as I tend to do with some of my knives for various reasons. But, it does feature a tip-up carry, right side, no other options. Some of the other things that you guys notice, typical Strider cutouts, jimping on the back for extra grip, along the spine there as well, and into the blade. So let's talk about some of the ergonomics, because it was one of the, I guess, maybe for some people it's provided sort of a hindrance or maybe some hesitation to purchase a Strider in the past. Because you look at it, this triangular shape here, the handle, it looks kind of weird, or I would say maybe obtrusive, or just not very ergonomically comfortable in the hand. However, once you get one in your hand and you actually feel it, it's really very ergonomically comfortable. It does flare out nicely. It provides a lot of grip in the butt side of the handle. It is a very secure grip. With the choil here, your finger recesses very deep into the blade, into the handle rather. And actually you can recess into the blade on the upper choil if you so like. But when gripping the handle in the regular grip, your finger just sort of melts into the handle. I don't know a better way of putting it. You will notice that it does get very narrow here. So, the foregrip is, I don't want to say a little more hollow than you might find on some knives, but the way it recesses in, it's very comfortable. And the way it flares back out, it provides you a lot of back grip over here. The balance on the knife, even though it seems a little bit butt heavy, is, I would say, close to perfect. You know, it's right there, right on the finger control where you grab it. That type of balance allows a great amount of maneuverability and very easy manipulation of the blade. You don't have to, you know, there's no stress, no issues there. Even though it is a light knife, coming in, I'll put it in the specs, but it's very easy to handle, very comfortable. You know, it's not too blade heavy, it's not very butt heavy, it just sort of rotates around that axis, so very comfortable. The ergonomics are not something you should have to worry about or consider. It's designed very well, fits into the hand perfectly, ease of use is great. As you could tell, like I sort of demonstrated, there is an additional finger choil here for you guys to choke up a little bit. That's about it. Some very thick steel there on the S30V blade. We'll do some comparison in a second, but just to give you guys an idea, it's a relatively thick blade. So, like I usually do, let's throw in some comparisons, and actually, I'd like to start out with rather new collection, and I actually found this knife to be a very good comparable to the Strider. You guys know it, you've seen it before. It's the Paramilitary by Spyderco. Again, a lot of great reviews out there on that. Don't need to talk too much towards that. You guys can check them out. It's great. Although you can see the builds are vastly different. You know, one uses the compression lock versus the frame lock. Different types of materials, even though the Paramilitary is full G10. Size comparison wise, they're very similar. You can sort of see the thickness there. They're going to take up about the same amount of space in the pocket, whether clipped or full carry. Let's see, still a bit stiff on there, and as you know, Striders require a good amount of work in before they get to that point where it's easy flip open. Can do it just with a limited amount of space and whatever here. But let's see, taking a look at the blades, if you can see there, very similar. You know, one isn't much thicker than the other, same sort of profile shape. The Paramilitary, a little bit more aggressive. That D2 steel, very nice. You can see the thickness comparison here on them. The Strider maintains that thickness all along it, much thicker, well, not significantly thicker, I will say. You know, both of them are very thick, hard-use blades. So there you can see one features the thumb ramp, the other features the full jimping into the blade. Depending upon your use, you may prefer one over the other. Size-wise, again, very, very comparable. Sort of see them lined up there next to each other. Sort of good. Another one that I particularly find very similar is the Emerson Horseman. Very similar in size. Again, both closed and opened. Hard-use knives in both cases. Many of you guys are familiar with Emerson's work, so I don't need to talk too much about that. Very different blade shapes. You can sort of see there the grinds are definitely different. Thickness, Strider's got it by a good margin, you can sort of see. But again, personal preference, personal choice, it's up to you guys. The Strider is a much thicker blade, a much broader blade rather, as well. So there you can sort of see what's going on there. Another question, or another sort of not concern, but another sort of curiosity out there is how does the SNG compare to some of Strider's smaller offerings? They represent to you the PT. Basically, it's also in the CC fashion, same sort of, just think of it as like the little brother. So the PT is a lot smaller. It's a much smaller knife in all aspects, you know. So there you sort of go. Hope that helps provide sort of some perspective on where things are. You will notice that the blade thickness, though, isn't vastly different. The CC, the PT rather, the smaller one, does feature a pretty thick blade for such a small knife. Anyway, maybe we'll talk some more about that at a later time. Anyway, I just wanted to provide you guys some of my thoughts, maybe take a little look at some of the things you may not have heard much spoken to before, or maybe you have, but that's about it. Overall, hard-use knife, great stuff, solidly built, you know, as other guys have testified to in the past. You can definitely check those out, but highly recommend it. Great knife. As usual, questions, comments, please post them, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay? Thanks a lot, guys. Have a great one. Bye-bye.